What stands in the way of change in education? The relationship between practitioner and researcher.
One of the barriers to educational research is that the researchers are on one side of the street and the practitioners, those folks like myself who are in classrooms working with teachers, are on the other side of the street.
Researchers who don't focus on what schools need. Teachers and administrators who don't feel respected and who won't buy into reform. These are impediments to change.
The work that we as educational researchers do, we take it into schools, and very often it doesn't, even if it works, even if an intervention is effective and can be shown to be effective, it often doesn't last because the teachers think of it as the project of the researchers and not as the project that's close to their own lives.
Other obstacles include not enough time, scarce resources.
We don't have enough resources from the state for education to really do anything innovative. And in truth, for 21st century, we need to innovate. In order to teach our students to innovate, we need to do the same. And we don't have the time or the resources allocated by the state to be able to do that.
Also standing in the way of change in education, no tradition of scientific research, as in other fields.
Science is used dramatically in agriculture, in medicine, of course, and it's directly linked to the care of either crops or patients. In education, that was not a strong tradition. It's difficult to work in real school systems.
Let's turn the page.
The Strategic Education Research Partnership, SERP, is changing this. SERP bridges the worlds of research and schools. SERP connects the needs of schools and districts with university researchers focused on education.
In 2001, there was a national commission that was convened to look at the connection between research and practice in education. The commission released a report that set forth the basic idea of the Strategic Education Research Partnership, which was to give the practitioners in school districts and schools the opportunity to identify the areas in which they were struggling and to invite a partnership with the researchers to focus on the issues so that they could do a better job with the young people they were educating.
SERP facilitates ongoing partnerships between the professionals working in schools and researchers. SERP provides organization, support, and structure to these improvement efforts.
We began work with a group of teachers in both math and science.
SERP brings together teams of people to work on problems faced by schools across the country.
We needed to really begin to more systematically explore how you develop the tools for teaching that really make a difference not only with your partner district or classroom teachers, but can make a difference to the field of education more generally. So that was the lead into the SERP organization. There was no organization in education that took researchers inside classroom settings and had the questions emerge from practice and the solutions be tested in practice.
The work begins when a school district identifies an area that needs improvement in their schools. In Boston, Massachusetts, the focus is on middle school literacy.
Boston volunteered to be the first field site. I took the initiative as the superintendent to identify middle school literacy as the first issue that I thought it was important for the SERP partnership to address.
SERP identifies university researchers who agree to become part of the team that will look at the issue. In this case, how to support middle school students working with text. Teachers needed ways to develop students' understanding of academic language.
The original definition of the urgent problem came from the superintendent, and the partnership was with the superintendent and his staff. But before we actually got to the point of offering any ideas about what to do, we had to go into the middle schools, observe classrooms, talk to teachers, talk to principals, get their perspective on what this meant, that students were not making progress in reading and writing in the middle school years.
At SERP field sites, 3 groups are created out of teams of practitioners, researchers, and SERP personnel: the core group, the design team, and the research team. They identify the issue to be studied, work on the ongoing research, and develop a solution that's implemented by participating schools. One result of this work in Boston is word generation. Word generation addresses the issues of middle school literacy with lessons used across the curriculum.
We are the practitioners, the teachers, working collaboratively with the researchers. So they have all the philosophical ideas, and then we bring them back down to the classroom and say, well, this is how it's going to be able to work for us. And that kind of collaboration and effort together has been very successful. In our word generation data, our students are gaining 4 times as many words as they would normally.
SERP partnerships continue beyond the development of materials. Researchers continue to work with school personnel to ensure real results. New partners join the project.
What's been interesting about the Boston SERP project is that we have kind of followed the contours of the problem of middle grades literacy, and we've accumulated partners based on the things that we needed to know in order to do the work well. So, for example, we have a partnership with the Educational Testing Service to build an assessment that's now available to anybody who wants to use it.
We're on week 8 in our word generation notebooks.
SERP provides the infrastructure and support to take the solutions developed in one site and makes them available to other school districts.
When we talk about word generation in other contexts, in professional development conferences where representatives from other districts are present, it is remarkable that from every urban district present, somebody comes up to me and says, how do we get this program? This is exactly the set of problems we have.
Word generation is an example of what's already happening. You get something excellent, you put up a really good website so people can easily get the information. People get excited about using it. You create a community across the country that is contributing to the research process as well as for the development of the tools. The fact that these products are developed with teachers, by teachers, in addition to the academics involved, makes it much more believable for other school districts to use.
At the SERP field site in San Francisco, one focus is mathematics.
SERP is unique as far as I know in that the problems that SERP looks at are problems that San Francisco Unified decided were important to it. The teachers and some district personnel and the other math folks get together, study student thinking, and then ask, so if we understand that about our kids, how can we move them where we want them to go? And it's our job to, as researchers, to figure out how that process is working, how it can be improved.
And I want for you to add -7. SERP opened up my expectations of what to expect from students as they evolve their thinking, as I push their thinking, as I challenge myself to stay focused and allow for digressions. I feel as though it has deepened my practice so that I know more about math and I know about more how students are thinking in math.
Real education reform is not going to come because we have a different program. It's going to come because we have a different understanding of the enterprise we're engaged in, and we have the tools to act on that understanding. So I would say one of the things that's different about the SERP model is we're not just interested in bringing in the best of what the research community has to offer, but in crafting what they have to offer into tools that can be used by teachers.
We dream about the day when there's a dozen or so SERP sites, and they are like the great teaching medical hospitals in which medical practices are invented and developed, and then they spread. And that's really the kind of the vision that animates me.